You guys want to introduce yourself? Yeah, you. Okay. Start with Anton.
Hi, my name is Anton. I take up the most space here, so that guy has to stay there. Sorry, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we are a game company slash publisher and platform play in Indonesia. We are arguably one of the biggest in Indonesia, and for smartphone games. And with such a huge population, 250 million, I think I would like to help you guys also maybe understand a little bit about the market. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions if you have. Enjoy the panel.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rifai. I work for the MOL. MOL actually, we are the leading payment service provider primarily for game. We've been in the business for the past 15 years, so we have experience actually to help monetize game from MMORPG to social game and now to mobile games. And yeah, I would love to actually share some of the experience about the monetization here in Southeast Asia, where basically that the credit card penetration is not really as high as the developed country, basically. Yeah.
Yes, On.
Hi, my name is Antras and I'm the COO of Kiro Games. We are a game development company based in Thailand, and we have a game named Unblock Me, which has so far been pretty successful in this region. So we hope to share our experience.
Thank you. Alvin?
Yeah, hello.
Alvin, come on, Emperor.
It's not working, it's broken.
Maybe. Excuse me, could someone help him?
There we go. Okay, my name is Alvin Huban. I'm the Director of Business Development for Synergy 88, and on the side, I wear another hat. In the Philippines, we have what we call the Game Developers Association of the Philippines. So it's a way of bringing developers together, and I serve as president of that. So with Synergy, besides being a developer, we're also a publisher now, and well, we're quite new at this, but we want to solve the riddle of how to actually make money from the Philippines.
Yes, please. Okay. Last is Shin.
I am Shin. I am doing the music game in Thailand. We are doing very well in Thailand only. If you want to ask me a question about the Thailand market, I am the one. So please feel free to ask me.
Yes, he's the one who's made a localized game for Thailand, and he's the one who's got a lot of installs, and he's made a lot of money. So I don't want your money, but I want your knowledge as to how do I make money over there. Okay, but before we get into monetization, team, I just need to ask one question, which is very important. How do we get traffic? How do we get people play our games that we develop from the own country? How do we, do that? So maybe, Anton can help us understand Indonesia. Shin and On can help us understand Thailand and Philippines. I'll ask Emperor to help us understand. And Revive, please feel free to add, because
Sure.
you're all over Asia.
Yeah.
So maybe, Anton, you want to?
Yeah, so Indonesia is pretty straightforward in the sense that we are very active social media users. I think my data is correct, number 3 or number 4 Facebook users in the world, very active Twitter users, and so we can leverage on that, certainly. If you go to Facebook ad networks, there's like a lookalike audience that you can tap into. You can even go beyond that, go beyond just targeting a certain demography. You can even target people who spend a certain amount of money in such platform. Even in Twitter is trying to that as well. So that is one way of us gaining user acquisition. The other way is also to partner with local celebrities. As I said, people who have high Twitter followers, high Instagram followers are also our partners and our target that we can do something together to acquire users.
Okay, so just to add on to this point, I believe it's the same scenario in Thailand and Philippines also. Okay, so celebrity is like one of the most important aspects to be looked at to create user acquisition.
I think that the social network in Southeast Asia is very influential. So it could be Line, it could be Facebook. It would be a very high traffic channel for developers. And even if you are not using paid installment from Facebook, you can use celebrities that are on Facebook. They have a very high reach.
Okay, so So that is something which is interesting to hear, but when I look at the top 20 games in each of your country, I find a lot of global games. Why don't I find your local games over there?
For the Philippines, that is a problem. We've always had I don't know if it's our colonial mentality, but we've always had an affinity for everything foreign. But I believe right now that someone has to push. Someone has to push from inside and to actually teach them that we actually can make games of value that can be consumed by our own population. Same thing with most other countries. We are we have high usage of Facebook. And our publishing push will not stop merely online. We have some strategies which I think is really just for the Philippines.
So you need to be very local if you want to be making money in Philippines?
Yeah, it won't be the same for every country. My God, ASEAN, we have 10 countries. It's 10 distinct cultures. There are certain realities that you have to find out. For the sake of the Philippines, this is for your consumption. Know that the Philippines is a very mall-centric nation. Most of the most successful activities, even for traditional marketing, are from mall-based activities. It's proven for the last 15 years. So we're going to have a mix of that to drive instant traffic on site. There are many reasons for this. One, our malls have very good weather because they're air-conditioned. Two, free Wi-Fi. That's another challenge that we were.
Oh yes, yes.
That's another challenge of the Philippines. We have 7,000 islands and our Wi-Fi is shit. But sorry, pardon my French. But it is. That's why people actually congregate on a daily basis. It will frighten you the number of people that we have in our malls. So those are some things.
I have seen those malls, and yes, I am frightened.
We're trying to let you.
Yes, never go on a Saturday or a Sunday. Shin, you want to add something as to why? But from Thailand, if I understand, it's not the global games that trend; it's more of the Thai games that trend.
For me, as a music game, right, we have the music label collaborate with us, so that we utilize and we share on the Facebook and the celebrity Facebook, so that this is why we get the install. It is not the same as other apps that do. As the app we do installation ad, but we use celebrity for fully, for the first thing. And if to think about why it is top 20 with the global game, like I think it is about the content platform. Yeah, you have to update content frequently so that people, when you buy one, people keep coming to your game.
Okay.
For Tapster, we update the song every week so that people coming in. I think for the Clash of Clans, they do that as well. Yeah.
Oh yes, I am a Clash of Clans player, so yes, I do understand the updates that I have to keep on doing. But the reason I wanted to touch the traffic and the localization part of the discussion is because before we go to the monetization, it's important to have the traffic part, because if there's no traffic, how are we going to make money out of it? But as far as my understanding goes, the in-app model where you make 2 to 5% of your players are actually making money. I would like to hear from the panel as to how do you make money, and this is where we are sitting right now to address the bull by the horn by how do we make money. And all of you guys have managed to make money from Southeast Asia. So how about you, Anton? What do you think? How can we make money?
I think one of our focus that we do is not to focus so much on Southeast Asia in terms of monetization. What I mean by that is to diversify. Not only putting your games, because we are very lucky that we are in the game industry where it's unlike e-commerce companies, you are bound by boundaries and countries. We are actually country agnostic, and so most of the income will come from outside. In Southeast Asia in particular, I think a lot of ways to earn money is more on how you really engage your active users so that they come back. And in doing that, you can show them, well, not show them, but you can actually, the more they are engaged, the more they come back and play, the more CPM and the more advertising dollars that you can generate.
Okay, so but you said it's a 150 million population country.
250.
250. I think it's a big number from where you can make money. And yes, you know, Western markets are interesting. They get a lot of revenue for us, but still 250 million only from one country. And if we are not making money out of that, we really need to keep on finding. And like you said, the focus is a little diversified with Western market, but whatever traffic you get from Indonesia, how do we make money out of that?
Yeah, I think it's...
I'm sorry to cut, but how's the payment mechanism and what are the other channels that a developer can use?
Yeah. So first thing first, like any Southeast Asian country, the penetration of credit card is low. Hence, people are not able to pay if they want to. However, I think to address that, Google Play recently worked with two of the biggest telcos, which is Indosat and Telkomsel, to do career building. However, you might think that it's convenient. It's not, because one, they do tax you extra 10% for that. Secondly is that it's not an easy step, not the one-click billing. You actually have to go into like 7 steps of SMSing them and getting the PIN code and whatever it is to enter to get pre-approved for your credits and stuff like that. So the way to monetize, I think, which 80% of our revenue comes is from ad networks.
Oh, so ad networks play a very big role in making money. But when you say ad network, what kind of ad network is actually the ideal one to work for you guys over there? Is it like the banners or the interstitial or something like what Pocket does, rewarded video ads?
Sure. I think as a developer, you need to really select this ad networks and to actually optimize it like any other business, right? So I think the traditional banner ads used to be successful. However, I think in the future with we are going to work with you guys very soon. So I think we have high hopes on that as well. You showed me the data. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
And also, I think more than that, going beyond the traditional banner or interstitial ads is something that we should consider.
Okay, so that's the way that you need to look at generating more revenue out of it.
Yes, and we need to optimize, and we need to not get married to just one and just stick to it, because we need to really optimize.
Okay, so I would also like to hear what MOL thinks.
If I'm using the angle from the real money monetization using MOL, right? The big challenge basically for the game company that actually monetize on the platform here in Southeast Asia actually is the credit card penetration is not that high. So MOL basically is to bridge the gap for that. Our business actually has been exist for about 15 years, and basically we build up the payment network with the retailer. We also have an integration with the telco, and also we integrated with all the internet bank. So if you're relying on just like a Google payment or iOS, it doesn't really work because they're still pretty much dependent on the credit card. So MOL actually we work with a lot of the big partners also, like Gumi, Line, WeChat. They also use our payment, enabling it. Using the Google, actually they have their own mobile web. They enable a very different alternate payment for that part. So I would like to actually mention also that if you're talking about global domination in this Southeast Asia for global game, actually it's only happened in the mobile game. But if you're looking into like a client-based MMORPG free-to-play, it's pretty much still dominated by the local player, the local publisher. So there's, if you're talking about game, currently what we are looking and focusing is more on the mobile game, but game is much bigger than that. And actually there's still a big chunk of those user base that actually playing on the game on the MMORPG. And these gamers actually is also playing on the mobile game. Yeah.
Okay, so but this makes me ask one question as to like how much percentage of players would end up, looking at alternate payment channels? Because the biggest concern that I have noticed is out of the 100%, 2%, 3% goes to the in-app model. How much percentage of people would end up buying, an alternate payment channel?
It depends on the sum of the game, right? If the game actually, a lot of them are like primarily like from China, from Asia, and many of these users actually is already familiar with the publisher. The big chunk, I think about like it can be 40% or even half actually using the out of app basically, because these gamers actually is the community is belong to the MMO game publisher. They actually also publish a mobile game. Okay. But for like a mainstream game, yeah, it's only a small percentage basically.
Yes. So which basically I would like to ask on, because I believe ON doesn't use any of the methods which the other two guys have said. So ON, I think you have what, 100 million installs of your game?
Yes, not yet. 107 right now. So I think for every general developer, we have to focus on the Western part first. And but at the same time, we have to remind ourselves the fact that this Southeast Asia region is the fastest growing region in terms of revenue and growth. So we still have to put a lot of focus in our own region. And speaking of Southeast Asia, there's only 6 big countries that we should focus on, which is Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Philippines. Yes.
Philippines. Oh, okay. So all the countries that Pocket is focused on.
Yes. Yes. So we have to remember that these countries are going to be big really soon, especially in Indonesia, where the smartphone penetration is only like 30% right now. Only? Right? Yeah. I think so. So at the same time, the amount of downloads there are very massive. So I think for now, us developers are not are focusing on the West, but we are trying to put our games and our methods and our names in there in this region. In terms of monetizing our game for Unblock Me, we've been very popular in Malaysia, in Indonesia, not Indonesia, in India. Yes, in India, in Singapore, we've been doing pretty good. But at the same time, we have been India, for say, has one of the lowest paying customers for us.
Okay, and I would like to know why. What is that you are doing? I'm an Indian, I can answer you, why are we not paying you?
I don't think you have to answer. I pretty much know. So comparing in-app purchases and premium version, we understand that the credit card penetration over there is pretty low. But in terms of advertising, India does pretty well. In terms of advertising, we do interstitials between levels, and we also do banner ads at our menu screen. And we also do incentivized video as well. So in terms of all those combined, they do pretty well in India. But at the same time, our game is pretty popular in Philippines. But there's no paying customers there. Our advertisement there is still very low, considering that amount of downloads that we have. So I think in this region, everything, every country are all different, and we have to have different approach to every country.
Yeah, but on one question that I would like to ask, and feel free to say that you don't want to answer, but how much revenue have you dipped in the last 1 year from the methods that you have used?
What do you mean?
Means like the banner eCPM and the interstitial eCPM, has it been going up or has it been going down?
I think I would say that for general developers, we always see the eCPM go seasonal.
Seasonal, yes?
Yes, seasonal.
Yes.
Yes, so I know some of our partners are here, so they have been very generous to us, and I would definitely it's seasonal.
Okay, so but if I have to ask from an incentivized video point of view and banner and interstitial, does incentivize gives you more eCPM as compared to a banner and interstitial?
Yes, they do.
They do, and is it like multi-folds or is it like how much extra?
I mean, the eCPM is pretty good in terms of incentivized video, but I think the problem with that is that the inventories are limited.
Oh, okay, don't worry, we are solving that problem, so you will have that limited issue.
For generally, I think interstitials are pretty convenient and really easy to use in terms of inventories and eCPM.
Okay, great. How about Alvin? What do you think from a Philippines point of view? You guys are not giving money to my friend On.
No, I'm just keeping it for now. I'm going to give it to him soon. Well, yeah, well, again, we're new. And when we got into publishing, I came in this business with many goals in mind. I know that I will be very successful in this publishing bid if I can grow our local developers with me.
Agreed.
Right, so how do you grow local developers? Now, I won't just simply go to each and every developer that we have and teach them amazing things about game development. That simply cannot happen. So the best way I want to do it is to actually show them how to earn money. And we have done a lot of studies, FGDs.
Okay.
And the most sensible thing that can be done right now to earn money for these developers and the company is really rewarded videos. We see it as really stupid proof.
Yes.
Especially from our point of view. And I don't bluff them. I told them, if you use this, you will earn a little, enough to keep you developing more. Because it's been a problem in the Philippines. I've met so many developers. They try to make 1, 2, 3 games. They throw it up in the air. Doesn't make money. They go to the call center industry. I lose them.
That's a big industry.
Money,
yeah.
right? I mean, this is my plan, and the whole company is backing me up on this. That this will lead the way for these developers to contribute better and better games. I had just only one company. We're a small company of 200 people. I cannot simply develop all the games that we need. I need people to go with me.
I understand, but a very small thing. 200 is not small.
200 is
It's not small, please.
No, they're all this tall. We give them small food every day. Yeah.
Okay, but Shin, what do you think? I think you are the guy who uses almost everything in the books for making money. I'm not sure about MOL. I'm sorry, but almost everything I know about you, you make money.
I would say in Thailand market, it is very normal that in-app purchase is very low, right? About 1 to 5%. But on the other hand, it gives about 80%. It gives, actually for me, it is 50% of the revenue. And for the half of that, it is sure that people not pay, right? And give the revenue of another 50% for us. For an app purchase and for ad network, I would like to say that you should localize the language, localize payment gateway, and localize ad network. I have integrated many channel and networks and also payment channel. Payment channel work 3 times more when you integrate local ad networks. Or local payment gateway, sorry. And for ad networks, we integrate a lot of that. For local ad, it gives higher eCPM. Also for some video ads, local video ads give more eCPM. And for the game ads, comparing with brand ad is better. Yeah. And for this year, I think especially it is incentivized ad is the trend. I would say that it is a trend for this year, but the next year it may not. Yeah.
Oh, well, I would not hope that to happen because that's the company that we run. But so 2 more things that I would like to ask. One is you mentioned that it's very important to have local ads. So does this mean that if I have a network that I have integrated and I have a user from Thailand, and if I'm going to run an English ad, am I going to get a less conversion or a less eCPM as compared to a local Thai language campaign that would run?
Yes, for sure, because many foreign apps or top apps like Summoner War, you will see that they localize the ad. Yeah, because they know that only 25% of Thai speak English. So it will be resulting in higher KPI for your campaign. You should localize everything in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, but that brings me to a question, because this is something which is not in the control of the developer. It is in the control of the advertiser. Does the advertiser really care about doing a very special localization only for Thailand market, or say only for Indonesia market? How do you get that localized thing? I'm actually coming to a point, so if you don't have an answer, I actually have an answer to that.
I would say that we have Pocket, yeah, for sure, for the reward video ad, right? And also we have we are quite big in Thailand. We have direct sponsor also.
Okay.
That will give high eCPM also, yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I have seen in this countries, I spent 6 months over there. They all like free stuff. Is it correct? Can I ask that question with no disrespect to any of you, but players like free stuff? How about you?
I would like to answer about that, right?
Yeah. Because MOL is not free, so let's hear.
So basically, what we've been looking for a lot from the advertising angle. So we've been talking about like a lot of the user, whether they like a free stuff. It's not always that way. If the hardcore user, they rather want to pay. One of the things that actually we neglected, when you're talking about localization of the language, about the payment gateway, those are not enough. A lot of the company that actually game company that they have not looked into. There's a big company that actually already done that and already proven to be successful. Is the localizing the pricing. You know that you cannot really price your item in Singapore and you sell it to the user in Philippines. It would be just too expensive. This is the area that actually a lot of mobile game company has not looked into that, but we have been working with a big company like Steam that actually has a pricing, purchasing power parity, that they price the content for the Philippine user is much cheaper than US or Singapore, and it proven it. The monetization can be triple or 5 times sometime, yeah. So that's the area that basically
I'm sorry, but I have a very different take on this, because what you say is very nice when it comes to the big developers or big publishers. But the idea right now is that how do we make money? I'm not a big guy. I'm not Gumi. Okay? I'm not the big guy. I cannot understand all of this. How do I get that knowledge? How do I? So is there anything that MOL does to educate the developer as to how do they price it?
We do actually educate the developer. I mean, like if you go to like the Economics Intelligence Unit, there is basically a table called the Big Mac Index. Big Mac Index actually gives you the guide, like how much is the price of the Big Mac according to the local power pricing parity. So you can use similar index actually to gauge what is you should price your game item in the local pricing. And MOL actually, we have an isolated wallet that actually it will not create a leak. So basically if you use a mall point, right? A Filipino user will buy your game item. They will not be able actually to use that mall points and sell it to the user in Singapore. So that will isolate basically. We have an isolated channel that allow the developer actually to localize the pricing.
Yeah, but this basically means that the expectation is that the developer needs to be very evolved in the ecosystem. He needs to understand game economy quite properly.
Yes, basically.
Because as far as I know, the kind of developers I met, and with due respects to all my friends here, I don't think they will be able to do this kind of a thing.
Well, if you're doing a free-to-play game, right, you have to understand about the game economic. I mean, there's so many different type of game. If you're doing like just like very casual game, then that might be work differently. But if you're doing like a lot of a free show item with the in-game currency, it's something that you have to understand. So it really depends on what game developer actually.
Okay, so let me ask Anton. Anton, you have an in-app games, right? You have a lot of in-app games. Yep, and what Rivai is saying is that, so have you done localization of your pricing for each country?
So I think the question comes back with what Rifai is trying to make a point is that it depends on what game you want to make. If you want to make a mid-core F2P games, then you should not put any ads, or even, I mean, you know, you should just forget about ads, or just put some minimal ads like video or something like that. But if like me, you said that my game has in-app purchase, yes, but I wouldn't consider my game as mid-core. Okay. I would consider my games as casual with an in-app purchase. Okay. And I would be really surprised for people to buy it actually. Okay. Because I don't ask them to buy, but they buy it anyway. So.
Yeah, and also one more interesting trend that I see on and I look at App Annie a lot. So sorry, but that's the only data point I have right now. But the number 2 game or number 3 game that I see on App Annie is never in the top 10 in the grossing. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing or not. Like, for example, once I was looking at Subway Surfer for India, and it was at number 2. But when I look at the revenue and the grossing numbers, they were at number 30. So obviously, we are giving them a lot of users, but at the end of the day, they're not making money. And exactly that's the point that I want to keep on driving is, obviously, the 2 and 5% of the in-app purchase are the whales. They are the one who gives you the best ARPU. But the question keeps on coming in my head. 95% people are not paying. The game is made for 100% people, right? You want to make money from everyone. So yes, one of the option is in-app, one of the option is MOL and the other payment channels. But like Shin said, incentivized video is one of the channel. But the question that keeps on coming is, are there enough campaigns? And that's the question which I think, you asked, right? Right. So what happens if there is no campaign? and if you have put an incentivized video ad? The user gets nothing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, when there is a campaign, you make money,
Yes.
right? Okay. So anything else that you want to guys add? Anything from Philippines very specifically? Because I hear it's a 100 million English-speaking population country.
100 million beer drinking people.
Beer drinking people,
Yes,
okay.
And 40 million, around 45 million smartphones. And just like it was said earlier, yeah, it's a good time to look at Southeast Asia right now, because by the end of the year we would have leveled the smartphone penetration would probably be at par with the rest of the ASEAN countries by the end of this year. So just imagine if you put some focus in Southeast Asia right now, you'll be facing a market of virgins. You know, first-time users of smartphones. You can be actually the first brand they will see and will stick in their minds forever. So you have this window of 2015 to do that.
Yeah, but you know, Alvin, I have one question for you. Lot of companies want to test their game in Philippines. What's so special? Because you guys don't make money for them, but they still come there to test.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, again, everybody brags about their high Facebook usage, but no, we are the worst at it. We consume it like air, and again, the English thing is quite real. And if you Google enough, you will find out that the Filipinos are the most emotional people online. That's why. Yeah. Okay. So we are not ashamed to shout out our comments. So a lot of people, I've been to conferences abroad in the US, and they've actually identified the Philippines as one of the cheapest ways to test your games.
So, is it also because the user acquisition cost is very cheap?
Yes, 0.41. Yeah.
Oh, only 41 cents.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know from an acquisition point of view, but from a branding and a campaign-driven point of view, that's a lot of less money that I'm going to make. Yeah. Okay, so in the end, if I have to, maybe anything else that you guys want to add, or I can summarize?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This would be good topic to discuss. I think if you read recently what happened in Europe about the telco trying to block the ad on the mobile. I mean,
okay.
If you heard about it, this would be like a challenge that actually, because basically the telco has been like the one that owns the infrastructure and delivering all the content, whether is it advertisement or is it a game. And not in the Europe, I think there's already some of the operator that allowed by the government actually to block the ad. They want basically to have a piece of the revenue to deliver the ad and the game content. So this is an area that actually all in the game industry, whether it's an ad monetization, game publisher, that we should get prepared and look into.
Yeah, I think that's the same that happened in India, and the Indian user and audience have killed that concept for the telcos.
So as long as basically the government basically impose like a net neutrality, that is actually will be good for us. Right.
Yeah, but it's good for you, but it's not good for me, who's the user, because why should I keep on paying separately for each of the...
It's not good for everybody. Net neutrality actually is good for all of us. That basically telco, they cannot take the whether it's advertising or is it the content delivery, all this, right?
Yeah. Okay. So anything else that you guys wanna? So in the end, what you're saying is that obviously in-app is something that always makes money. Obviously, the other payment channels also help in making money, but the future is advertising, and it's always been advertising, but in future you're saying it's going to be incentivized or rewarded video ads that are going to make money.
Right now, yes. That's the trend now.
Okay, all of you are banking on it. I have a guy who doesn't bank on it, so I want to hear him why. I've been trying to tell him to use Pocket, and he doesn't do it, so let me ask him why.
I would say that incentivized video is a channel that we can monetize, but in some countries like Thailand, which has the highest revenue in this region, I would say that maybe going in-app purchase might be a good idea.
Yes, it is.
I would say that if you're going to choose between in-app purchase or choose between advertising, you would have to look into your game category. Is it casual? Is it mid-core, hardcore, and what country are you launching the game? So it really depends on the economics and your business strategy on that point.
Okay.
Well, can I add some?
Yeah, you want to add some?
After you.
Yeah, please.
I will add on top of that, you can have two things in one. Yeah. If you know when you are designing the free-to-play game, right, you have to have the green economy, right? From the session that I have been to the GDC, it says that reward or incentivize video, don't afraid of it. Because of when you're giving away the currency, you have to give the very, very small amount that they are very frustrated. Yeah, and the in-app will go up, and the revenue from ads go up also. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to design whether how much you give when watch the video, so that you give the profit and give the when he watch. I have never have enough ad. I would say that, but it reflect in like more in app because they cannot find other ways of money.
Okay. Yeah. So are you saying is that if in case you have incentivized video ads and when you're rewarding the player, does that have an impact on your in-app purchase also? Do you see an increase in your in-app purchase?
Initially, we don't know also. We put it in quite expensive. User get quite much. But when we reduce it into like 10 times, in-app better. It is very strange. Yeah.
Oh, so it is also important to play around with incentivized video ads.
You have to be aware of that also. Yeah.
Ah, okay. This is an interesting point because even I'm learning it right now. So thank you.